Welcome back to the show. We're joined once again with Joel from K3C Credit Counseling, and we are continuing to build on all this information. So we've gone through bankruptcy,
right?
Consumer proposal,
Consolidation loan.
Okay. And now we're kind of getting into this debt management, which is really what you guys are great at.
Right. So when we talk about options with everybody, it's about understanding what all of their options are, and whether it's a bankruptcy, consumer proposal, consolidation loan, or debt management. So somebody really has a good idea of what all of these options are and how they'll affect them and benefit them. So part of it, one of those options is a debt management program, which is administered by Credit Counseling. So we do it. So essentially what it is, it's an agreement that a client goes on with us. It says that they would make monthly payments to us. Okay, so instead of paying all of their different creditors, they'll make payments with us. And at a much higher level, we have made arrangements, our association has made some arrangements with the banks and all the creditors. And what the creditors have agreed to do is that if somebody embarks on a debt management program, I'm going to say about 90% of the creditors have agreed to stop interest, which allows for easier repayment of that debt if there's no interest being charged. The other 10% will generally reduce it substantially. So there is some movement with interest, and that's generally why people have difficulty getting out of debt, is that interest rate.
Right.
It's, you know,
It's killer at any level.
Well, you know, an average interest on a credit card is 18.9%. So that's, if you owe $10,000, it's $2,000 a year just in interest, $166 a month. So that's where it becomes very difficult to pay back the debt. The other thing that the banks have decided to do or agreed to do is that if it's gone to a collection agency, they will pull it back from that collection agency, and we deal with the bank, not the collection agency, which stops the phone calls.
Okay, and that's the panic and the stress and the anxiety that you're getting when you're answering the phone.
Yeah, when I tell people that, say, you know what, we can get that brought back to the bank, so we're dealing with the bank, it's a huge sense of relief, because the idea that it's gone to a collection agency is never, it's never pleasant in many different levels. So we can make that happen. So the client makes payments to us every month, and what we do every month is send money to the creditors. When you're looking at a consumer proposal, you're making payments monthly, but creditors won't get money for 6 months to a year. So the money kind of piles up in a trust account somewhere, and then will get sent off to creditors via dividend payments every 6 months. In our case, we send money every month. So it affects credit, yes it does. However, creditors like it because every month they're getting a payment, and some creditors have the ability to tweak their accounting so that the money that we send them actually is the right amount, so it keeps the account up to date. So there are times when we can keep credit in good standings through that process.
There's so much that is involved. We do have a couple questions that I want to get to, because I know that Lynn is standing by on the phone in Elmer. So Lynn, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Lynn.
Good morning.
All right, what's your question?
Well, it's kind of. I don't make a lot. I don't make a lot of money on. I'm on disability, so I don't bring in a lot of money, and I can't go out and make extra money. So I have a line of credit that I owe money on, and at first I just would take some, and I was able to pay it back. But then things happen in life, and I took a bit more, and I have a hard time trying to pay it back. I can pay the limit, but I'm trying to pay a little bit more, but that I keep on borrowing back on it because I just can't pay more than the limit. Mm-hmm. So I'm stuck.
So you'd like to be in a position where you're either able to make those payments and see that loan come down, and we might help with the debt management program, allow somebody to do that as long as you can afford it. One of the things with the debt management program is the debt needs to be repaid within 5 years. So we don't put these 10-year payment plans together. If you can pay back your debt within 5 years, it's a great option. You make monthly payments. We can get the interest stopped on that line of credit probably, depending on which bank you're with. But so that might be an option for you. We'd have to look at your budget to see if a payment plan is affordable.
Right.
That's
and
where it becomes
sounds
tricky.
Right there, though, especially when you're on fixed income, right?
Mm-hmm.
If she's on disability, you're not able to know that you can go out and bring that more in. Your numbers that you're working with aren't going to vary that much. When you have another person that could say, you know what, I'm going to go put in extra hours, or I'm going to try to get a second job. Circumstances
and in that
don't
case,
always
Lynn, you're
go
right.
in favor.
And you're right, Leanne. Numbers don't lie. So if you look at your budget, we look at how much money you make on ODSP, you look at how much your expenses are, and at the end of the month, can you afford to pay back your debt through a debt management program? If the answer is yes, it's a great option. People love it because they're paying back all their debt. I'm a strong believer that people want to pay back their debt. They come to our office and they say, you know, I've misused it, for whatever reason. It could be an unemployment or disability or separation, but for whatever reason, people generally want to pay back their debts. They're not looking for a quick fix or an easy way out. They're saying, you know, I got myself involved. I'd love to pay it back. What are my options? A debt management program is an option to pay back your debt, but it has to be affordable. Any option that you get into needs to be affordable. Even if you go to the bank, even if you go to the bank and you borrow money to pay back debt, that needs to be affordable, and not just a pay-to-pay affordable. You should become in a situation where you might be able to even save a little bit of money, so when things come up, the money's there. So Lynn, just to answer your question, it's tough. You may want to look at a bankruptcy. You know, those might be options if you don't have any assets, depending on how much money you owe. So those are all things that we need to look at, and if you want to call our office, we can give you a really good assessment. There's no fee. There's never a fee to contact the office. There are people there now. We can book an appointment. We can see you either through phone or whatever it is, or come in person, depending on where you're located.
Yeah. And here is how you can get a hold of them. Our time has run out. Always a pleasure.
So fast,
I know, always a pleasure to talk with you. That's how you can contact them. The number listed on their screen. Also the website www.K3CCreditcounseling.org.